Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sober Swole podcast. My name is Jake Howard.
One more time. And I go by DJ Swirl.
Chocolate and vanilla swirl.
What's up, everybody?
And before we get started, as always, let's give a shout out to Royalty Nutrition. That's royaltynutrition.com. And to help me out with that is Warhorse.
Hey, it's Warhorse. Do you want your workouts to look like this? Or do you want your workouts to slay? When Warhorse picks his pre-workout, he wants it to slay. If you want second place, go with somebody else. If you want to be a champion, go with Royalty Nutrition.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Royalty Nutrition is a veteran-owned and operated supplement company that doesn't automatically use the cheapest ingredients while making their supplements for you. Check them out. Use the discount code 37HAKE to save you 15% on your entire order. Hang on. My next shout out of the evening will be to Gorilla Gains. That's gorilla-gains with a Z.com. They are a fitness apparel company that you can wear comfortably in and out of the gym. They also make great equipment that helps keep you safe while you train. Check them out. Use the discount code Jake15 to save you 15% on that order as well. And to talk about the buy-to-buy empire, here he is, DJ Squirrel.
It is past the holiday season, but people are moving stuff like crazy. I'm actually busier this week than I was during Christmas, so which is wild. But yeah, if you find yourself in store or online shopping on one of the marketplaces, trying to find something for your place, give us a call. Buy to buy at BUYTOBYE. That is 602-345-0472. We help you from the time that you buy until the time that we say goodbye. That's on-demand delivery, moving, staging, TV, mounting, and assembly. This is the content creation side of the business. This is Buy to Buy Studios, where we provide high quality, you get low stress, and it's always a sound decision. So we do remote content creation and consulting. So if you've got a show, whether it's an idea stage or it's already a show and you just want to make it better and bigger, hit us up. We'll do what we can to make that happen for the love of fit. Talking about that soon. Jake, what are we talking about tonight?
Well, I did promise you that we would get a BMI decision discussion.
Yeah.
Update.
Let's get into it.
Well, what exactly do you want to know? Like what?
So our conversation as of last week went something to the effect of you were just going in. You were supposed to hear back on something for your procedure. They followed up with bad news stating that your BMI was too high for the procedure. So yes. I was familiar with the term BMI, but I did not know what the math meant exactly. So I went online and quickly found a chart, and you were 5'8", 5'9".
Yep. And
at your current weight, everything lined up. And so in order to get where you needed to be, the decrease in weight was 30 pounds.
30 pounds. They want me to lose. They want me to be like sub 200 pounds, which I haven't been in the last, 5 years.
And so when you hear that, and then you talk to me about magnesium overload so you can just liquidate your innards, it's cause for concern. So where are we at? What's the update?
Well, I'm not gonna do the extremes. I was definitely very heated last week and not thinking as clearly as I should have been.
Okay.
But I think we're gonna look for private options.
Sure.
Because I'm not gonna. Like I told Brittany, I was like, they want me to be shredded when I walk in. If I get down, seriously, if I get down to 200 pounds, I will be like damn near close to striated and veiny.
And will that be a problem for her?
No, I was just saying, like, it's. I mean, if I'm.
That sounds like an incentive to me for her anyway.
It is, but I mean, because I'll be, model status.
And which will also defeat the purpose.
Yeah.
The purpose is you staying off of one another, or at least not creating more kids. But if you come out shredded, then it might present a whole new problem.
Yeah, like, because most of that, like, I've posted pictures before of my legs. Most of my weight is in my legs. Like, yeah, I'm soft around the midsection. There's not an ab there, but like, it's such nonsense, man. Like, my legs are huge compared to, like, if you took someone that weighed 230 and you stood up next to me, you'd be like, there's a measurable difference in body composition.
Yeah.
And I just I can't comprehend the, like not even letting me come in to be seen kind of thing. Just like, nope, there's my number. Fuck you.
Yeah. No, it still feels like, as we discussed last week, it still feels very impersonal. You're an employee, not a customer. So like all of the things that warrant that response that you gave, it was all there. But but realistically speaking, you were going to do a bigger disservice to yourself and your goals going in and trying to, run your head through a wall than just saying, okay, that sucks, I disagree, but let me show and prove and do it. Because and these numbers are based off of, is that BMI, does that consider your status, being active or not?
No.
Okay.
That was my whole, the BMI is bullshit.
Yeah.
Because it does not consider an athlete. If you look at someone who's a big shredded dude in the NFL.
JJ Watt.
Okay, let's go with JJ Watt. JJ Watt is probably like, oh my God, that's the most obese man I've ever seen, just based on the numbers.
Based on the numbers, right.
Right. And like, it'd be like Jadeveon Clowney, same thing. Like,
right. Because that's not uncommon for you to see retired linemen who are 30 pounds lighter than what their playing weight was, because that extra weight was needed for their job.
Right. They tone down. They don't have to eat as much. They don't have to, train as hard and ridiculous as they did. So, like, there's obviously going to be a little bit of atrophy. And if they're a smart lineman, they cut a bunch of fucking weight when they're done.
Yeah.
Because, they
don't want to carry all that on your joints.
Being that big, especially, into your 40s and 50s, will make your heart die.
Yeah.
That's, like, if you ever look at any of the really huge professional bodybuilders that were top of their game, they are not even close to the size they were when they were competing.
Yep.
Because Dorian Yates, the first mass monster guy to win the Olympia, he's from England.
Yeah.
But he has to be on TRT forever because he's killed his endocrine system. But his nickname was the Shadow. So he is a shadow of his former self.
Yeah.
Like.
So 5 points in BMI, 30 pounds equivalent. With focus, what do you see the time table? How long do you think that'll take?
Dude, if I crunched it and like really focused on it, I could get that done probably in 3 months.
Okay.
And if I wanted to do it as healthy as possible, which is still nuts, but like, 10 pounds a month, that's not bad.
Yeah. No, it's not bad at all.
No, but then like, then what? I don't think I'm going to compete this year.
Right.
I have a whole new baby on top of the toddlers. Mm-hmm. And like, that was something like I talked to my, my 11-year-old, my 12-year-old about, she asked, well, why don't you bodybuild anymore? And I said, well, I'd rather lift to stay healthy and, focus on being the best dad I can for you guys. And it's not, my mindset has shifted so much on that. Like, I would love to be competing right now. And, cause I love it. Like that's my passion still. It's just, I know focus to do the being the best at it.
Sorry. Yeah, the link popped up on its own.
But I know to do the things that I need to do to get to where I need to go and grow to where I need to grow, and the focus I need, it would take away from me being as present of a father as I'd like to be. Mm-hmm. As we discussed in our New Year's episode, it would definitely take away from the father and husband I should be.
Yeah.
And like seriously, if I get to sub 200 pounds, it would just piss me off too. You know what I mean? Because it'd be like, you're right there, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But because like whenever you're doing something competitively and you want to be good at it, like you have to have a why. And I think that like my why is like, yeah, I would love to win, but where would that win take me? Or where would competing just in general take me right now, other than away from my family?
Yeah.
You know? And that's not to say it can't be done, because it can definitely be done. It can 100% be done because people do it all the time. Mm-hmm. It's just right now we're the ages of my kids and my kids not sleeping through the night, so and things like that, like all the bits and pieces that are really needed to be successful in the sport.
They're not there.
They're just not here. They're just not here right now. And I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying right now it would be setting a goal that I could get to, but at what cost? Yeah, you know, it's just not.
It's unrealistic. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
No, nothing you're saying tonight I'm pushing back against, because you're speaking with a level of clarity that makes sense. That's not ego. It's not emotional. It's pros and cons. It's, you know, it's seeing where the worth is, because I have no doubt that you could get there. I have no doubt that you would have the support from Brittany and from your family. But like you said, there would be so much opportunity cost that you would lose in just the family things that you would not be able to partake of, or that would cut into that. And so you're always doing that juggling, that balancing act. And like you said, if there's no why, if there's no game within the game that allows you to compete with yourself to outdo yourself, what are you doing it for?
Right.
Yeah.
Like I would like my last time on stage was the worst thing. Melted Candle Man was embarrassing, and I would love to have that redemption.
Yeah,
I will have that redemption.
Does it have to be on the same stage? Could it not just be in another physically capable arena?
No. It has to be on a bodybuilding stage.
Fair.
It has to be. Because I will not go out with my last known bodybuilding pictures looking like smashed asshole. You know what? But the thing is, I'm still really proud of that. I'm still really proud of that show.
I didn't even get the words out of my mouth. I was thinking. Every like I posted that picture like when we spoke with Nikki, and I put it up like as the mock makeup of the background. I used that picture, and you did not protest at all. You made a comment about it, but every single time it's like, yeah, I wasn't where I would have wanted to be or where I could be. I did it. It was embarrassing, but I was proud of what I did. So, well,
dude, my first time on stage, my balls were out the whole time. You know what I mean? Like, it does. In order to embarrass me, it's going to take a little bit. But
so, did you not get bonus points for that? Is that a deduction?
No. One of the judges came up to me and was like, "Hey, man, your balls are out."
Wait, so you didn't know your own balls were out?
No. I was dude. So it was my first time on stage. I prepped myself. I was like 141 pound. I had just it was the first time I met Brittany in person. She flew into town, so like my aunt was there out in the crowd. So I was like, one, it's a sport. I have no idea really what's going on. Two, like, I'm out here on stage, so I got like the stage nerves. Like, okay, go put on your show. So I wasn't really like paying attention to it, because it's already like I'm out there in a bikini bottom.
Yep.
And yeah, so whenever I turn and hit one of my side poses, you can see a whole nut, man. But no, so the last show, I'm still proud of it because I brought 3 athletes to that show and they all placed.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Like, so it was the first time I was ever competing in the same show with people I had coached. And I didn't have my best showing, but one, the guy that I coached up is, he's still coaching and training himself and competing. Married a top tier IFBB pro figure competitor. My figure competitor went on to become an IFBB pro herself. I mean, not with me, but she went and worked on with somebody else. Mm-hmm. That's fine. And then my bikini competitor went on to do a couple WBFF shows, which is what we had Heather on. She talked to all us about that.
Yeah.
Bree went on, and then she's since graduated college. She's got a great job at MGM and doing really well for herself personally. Like, everyone in that show, as I touch their lives at some point, that they're still, I feel like in some way I kind of push them into their different success zones, and
like a springboard. Yep.
Yeah, and like, that's rad, man. Like, I bragged about like people I trained in the Marine Corps. They're all home. Even, you know what I mean? Like people I've trained in bodybuilding have gone on to either keep competing or be successful in other parts of their life. I'm not saying I'm 100% responsible for it, but I know I have a little bit of piece of it.
Right.
Like,
yep.
I don't know, man, like coaching and teaching has always been something that I've just loved doing. And I've loved living the life myself. As I've always said, I will never do anything. I will never tell you to do anything that I wouldn't or haven't done.
Yep.
And that's, so yeah, like bodybuilding will always be a huge part of my life, obviously, because I'm still coaching folks. But when it comes to my personal competition, I need to get these heathens in line first, and that's going to take some time.
Yeah, shift gears, man. I think that's the biggest thing about understanding what parenting is, really, and it makes me have more appreciation for my dad, because my dad was in nursing school, 32 years old, 3 kids, married, and doing all of these things, working on the radio. And then he decides, I'm going to go for Mr. ISU. Because he's already been an athlete. He's always been in good shape. And he just wanted to take himself to the next level. And so he did that. He walked on and placed 3rd. And like, that is humongous. Mm-hmm. Being almost 40, having 2 kids, being married, having all my own stuff together. And then and then creating space to be able to be that disciplined, to be that consistent, and to be rewarded and to be acknowledged. Like, for him to be able to do all that stuff, man, at that age, knowing his experience growing up, having a speech impediment, all these other things. And then he put together his own piece, which is the reason why he placed as high as he did, because he didn't look as good as the other guys did, but his presentation was on point because he put together his own musical piece. And so like, he can have even more pride, because not only did he look great for his circumstance, but then he put together his piece without ever having done it before. And so like, just that, the context of all of that, man, it's like, just knowing now as a parent what you have to go through to maintain yourself, your sanity, your your aspirations, and take care of your seed. So I mean, I applaud you for acknowledging that and doing the work that needs to be done, because it's a ton of work, whether you're competing for yourself or you're competing for your kids.
Right.
So
speaking of kids,
man. That was perfect.
So I don't know if we talked about it in full, but we cleared out number one's room.
Yep.
Because of consistent issues of discipline.
Yep.
And we found a device for self-pleasure. So, I want to give an update. So every female response was they discovered themselves in the single digits.
Wow.
But it wasn't up until later, like late teens, early 20s, when devices came into play.
Got you. Okay.
So that's the consensus there.
Okay.
And so anyway, the conversation was, we were breaking down why everything was taken out.
Okay.
And I said, I need you to understand we found something else that required batteries. You know,
you didn't make that face.
Yeah, I did. It's just like, get the hint, and you just watch her face.
Yeah.
And I was like, listen, I'm not trying to give you a complex about certain things, because there's stuff you're going to do, but you are too young for such things.
Oh, okay. You did. Okay.
I mean, like I told her that. I was like, listen, you have this desire to grow up so fast, but in this circumstance, you need to slow down a tad.
Yeah.
Because that was always the thing with her, is that she's super mature for her age, even for like girls and stuff, like the way she thinks and talks. But I was like, I told you, and I've told you about other things, like you need to embrace your age and enjoy being a kid for as long as you can. And I said, and I'm not ignorant. I know stuff like this is it's going to happen, but like no more. And where'd you get it? We know the source.
Yeah. And the source, are you okay? Are you okay with the source?
No.
No. Okay. Don't feel free. Yeah.
I'll tell you more about that offline.
Fair enough.
But I'm pretty heated about that.
Okay.
But the whole thing was like, I don't want these kids to feel like they're not safe to be who they are in our home, or even like express themselves with themselves. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just wish she'd slow down and be a kid for a little bit, just a little bit. And I know that's like, especially to a teenager, you can't really explain anything to them because you don't know anything.
Well, I'm not sure it comes from a perspective of you not knowing so much as you're on the outside looking in, having already been through an experience of adolescence, of uncontrollable hormones, of, all of the things that she's experiencing, but just from a different seat. Same show, different vantage point, right? So you won't be able to directly relate to her on many fronts. But one thing that I see is, the hypersexuality just in pop culture. We got a lot of that. We were really the start of that in being 80s babies and with MTV and all that stuff. But now it's just like, it's no holds barred. You got big dick energy playing on the radio. I think I mentioned it, if not last week, in another episode. My daughters are now singing the new Nicki Minaj song, which is Freak. And they've got no business saying any of those lyrics. And so I've always, as a DJ, I always had an issue with provocative lyrics and content being played on terrestrial radio because anybody and everybody with an antenna can get to it. So it's like it's another thing of access. If it's in the adult clubs, awesome, do it, ham it up, whatever. But like, nah, with the youth, like you said, there needs to be a learning curve. And it needs to be pretty slow in terms of the slope. And not saying that everyone is the same, that people, there won't be exceptions, but it's typical. But it's not a surprise when that exception turns into a teen mom, turns into all of the things that are preventable. And yeah, the last thing you want is to lose that transparency to where whatever does happen is done out of spite. Because that's what I don't need, man. I don't need that in my life. I don't need my kids growing up and then executing behavior to spite me. Like, nah. I will do as much as I can to stay transparent about my mess ups and my hiccups, so that way I show that I'm fallible as well. But yeah, it's not like that old, keep them off the pole adage. It's the you know where that road leads, and it leads to Jerry, it leads to Maury, it leads to those things that aren't that they couldn't. It's not that they couldn't overcome them, but my younger brother, my nephew, he was not planned, and the fact that he and his mom are no longer together is a constant issue in his life, if only because they're no longer together, not because she's not a good mom, not because they don't take care of their responsibilities, but because they have their own lives and they didn't get along well enough in order to do it for the kid in the first place. So it's like all of those things can be completely eliminated if you tread lightly, if you abstain for a certain amount of time, even if you're just smart about it, even if you just use protection and you do it with one person and it's blah, 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 whatever that means. But like, there's levels to everything. However, take your time, your time. But that's a great segue, if anything, from your bodybuilding conversation was you literally can't pursue it as hard as you would like to because you have obligations.
Right. And, it's one of the coolest things, like parents of multiple children, period, know this. But because we have so many children in this house, it is really like one of the cool things is seeing how vastly different everybody's personality is.
Right.
And like, you have to expect the same things, but you have to treat them differently with everybody. It's the best way I can describe that. Because, like, you're really not supposed to play favorites. And I do my best not to. But, sometimes certain kids get extra hugs when they're being behave, like, like, how come she's always getting soda? Because she did her chores. Like, she hasn't hit her brother or sister lately. Like,
yeah.
Dude. Oh, speaking of, so the Ruth and Marley love Christopher, and they're always trying to like snuggle up, and it's real cute. But Marley has decided that she thinks it's funny to bite his head.
Ooh.
Yeah. She broke skin today. Out of nowhere. Little vampire. Wild.
So is that like just playing too hard?
Yeah, and I think she's just trying to see like what the limits are.
Okay.
Because she'll be 2 next month. So it's like she knows she's not supposed to, but she's trying to see like she's definitely got big sibling bully vibes coming out of her.
That's what my next question was. Is she doing it out? Is she being spiteful?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Because before Christopher was born, she was mommy's best friend.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think that's another reason why she won't sleep in her bed, kind of thing, because she knows at least I'm going to touch mom, like, which is kind of sad, but it's also like, hey, man.
Hey, it happens, man. It happens.
Mom's feeling good, and Pop's trying to give her a little tickle. You get out of here.
Yo, my kids are such like hater. Like I said last week, they love our PDA, but like if we want to enjoy each other's company for a moment, it's always them group hug, group this, group that. And you're just like, okay.
With Marley, it's funny. Like if I'm even giving Brittany a hug, she's like, "No, that's my mom."
Yeah.
And like tonight, I was giving her a hug before we came in here. She said, "That's my mom." I said, "Yeah, well, that's my wife." She goes, "That's my wife."
Oh man.
Yeah. So with the oldest one, we got into it today before we came onto the show because I think I've said this before, but she reminds me so much of me as a student. And except the difference was I went to school just to socialize. I think she just goes to school because she has to.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I tell her all the time, she's so smart. She's so smart. But if it's something that she doesn't want to do, she just doesn't do it. And then her excuse is, "Oh, I don't understand it." Or "I forgot." The big one is, "I don't understand it." And the thing is like we've paid for tutors. We've her teachers at the school they're at now are very accommodating with before and after school and email. Also in class, raise your hand, like very accommodating.
Yeah.
Which she refuses to take advantage of. All of it. I don't know why I'm not doing good at school. I try. The analogy I made tonight was, I was like, here's all I'm hearing from you. You're sitting here banging rocks together trying to make sparks to start a fire. But sitting next to you is a lighter and some lighter fluid. And you refuse to utilize the tools you have at your disposal. And so one of the big things here too is I've told them since I first moved out here, I was like, you and I, like, I understand. I'm not trying to be your father. I'm not here to replace your dad, but like, I'm here, and here's, you will follow the rules. And like the main rule that you have to follow is don't disrespect my wife.
Yeah.
And because she's 13, almost 14, we're adults and we don't know anything. Of course. That's par for the course, right?
Yeah.
But rule number one is always rule number one. And so tonight, got an email from her teacher. It's about this 5-paragraph essay that they have to write about the Russian Revolution. And so we read this email to her and said, I said, well, hey, so why don't you go grab your stuff and do some work on this paper, because your teacher's saying you need to work on it every day so you don't get behind. Yeah, but I've got a couple weeks. And I said, no, this is the problem. With everything you've done in school, when you don't want to do it, you put it off, or you say you don't understand it, and then you get horrible grades at school. Please, just go get your work and work on it for a little bit. And she started coming back at me, and I was like, no, And then Brittany stepped in. She started going back at Brittany, and I was like, I'm keeping my cool. I'm keeping my cool. I'm keeping my cool. And then, when we started getting like heated at her, and she was like, "What? I feel like I'm being attacked." And I was like, "No one's attacking you. We're just trying to help you be successful." Like, you can be mad and hate us all day, all you want, but like, we're trying to make sure you're successful. What's the issue? And then, well, then Brittany told her the same thing, and she started giving her attitude. And that's when I stood up, and I was like, volume increase. And then she was still going back and forth, and I was like, oh, volume increase. To the point where it's like, okay, close the windows. We don't need the neighbors hearing this. Because I do my best to keep my cool. One of the biggest things when I was screwing off in school was I was told that I was dumb a lot.
By who?
My dad.
Your dad, okay.
It's like, you're being ignorant. How are you so dumb? Like, stuff like that. And I was like, so I have a complex about that.
Sure.
But my thing is, I make sure to never tell the kids that they're being dumb. I always say, why are you acting like you're dumb? It's like, I think that's what my dad was trying to say, but that's not what he verbally said.
Sure.
So I think that the wording matters. And that's the thing is you are so smart. You are so smart. No, how am I smart? I'm so bad at school. It's like, you aren't bad at school. You don't try. Yes, I do. I try. And I was like, here are all your tools. Do I need to show you the fire analogy again? And like, you refuse to use your tools that you have at your disposal. You aren't dumb. You are acting dumb. That's I said, because the difference between me when I was acting dumb and her and acting dumb was I was there to socialize. And I was there to make all the friends and tell all the jokes and here's the Jake show.
And so what can you tap into from that aspect to show her that it's not worth it? Because it sounds like you were just trying to be the class clown, or
pretty much.
Yeah, to get attention.
Yeah, it's stuff that we talk about all the time. I've told her, I was like, everything you're doing, I've done.
But how long did it take you to break out, or did you ever break out of that, out of trying to get the attention at school? Or did it last all the way through high school?
Oh, it lasted all the way through high school.
Okay.
It lasted, it really wasn't up until I got sober that I was like, it's okay for other people to have the attention when it's their time to have the attention.
So you were drinking in high school?
Oh yeah.
I mean, not that I'm not trying to say that I wasn't, or that kids don't. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to connect the two. Like,
oh yeah, no, I was like,
but like drunk at school.
Oh yeah, I'd have not every day, but like,
yeah.
Like some days for sure, I'd have some special orange juice.
Oh man.
Like,
yeah.
I grew up in Illinois, man. Like, not in the city. That's what we did. Like, we're not city folk. Like, and that's just what you did.
Okay. So how do you prevent her from doing the same thing? She's just doing what other kids are doing.
My whole thing is I make her very aware of the struggle. Because she's already made it very clear that she doesn't want to go to college. And I was like, fine.
Okay.
But like, what are you going to do? You still have to have some sort of education. And you still have to understand the basics of life. And when you have a job and they tell you have to do something and you don't do it because you don't want to do it, you no longer have a job. Like that's the whole, like, other than, the the basics of everything. That's basically what school is. It's basically teaches you how to have a job.
Yeah.
If you get nothing out of school except for nothing, it teaches you how to have a job.
To support the economy. Yeah.
Yeah. Here is what is expected of you to keep your job. That's basically school.
Outside of geometry and calculus and all the stuff that we never use again.
Yeah. So I was telling her tonight, and I was like, look, you can keep messing up to where the only kind of job you'll get is working at McDonald's. And I said, the only problem with that is you have to have a monochrome of give a fuck to even work at McDonald's.
Yeah.
And you don't even have that. You don't even have that.
So your situation was you didn't have a support system at home.
I had a support system at home. It was just
well, a support system at home wouldn't let you drink in high school to go to school.
Well, they didn't know.
But why were they so distracted that you could get away with it?
Oh, because I never had my own booze at home.
You would meet your boy. And
yeah. That's actually something I kept up. Like when I was doing my Coke all the time, I never had Coke at my place.
Woo! I mean, I've never bought like drugs from a dealer before, but if I wanted to, I could get it. Like, all right, was with someone who had it, whatever.
I wouldn't even keep weed at my place. The only thing that would be at my place would be alcohol. And if drugs came in, they were either used right away or we left. There was never a storage.
So, was there a discussion on the beer pong cups?
Yeah. I mean, we broke that down. It was like, come on.
Yeah.
Like that.
So
yeah, you use your apple cider, but
yeah. Well, I say that with the intention of understanding that she's struggling now and she doesn't have all of the vices you just spoke on.
Right.
And it's not going to be hard for her to get to that.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. So like my biggest thing is, so she's already at that age where we don't know anything, even though we've lived it and know things. And what I would really love to prevent is the basically I had to screw up until I decided I wasn't screwing up anymore. And, you know, I think it's the hope for any parent is you don't want to see your kids make your mistakes.
Yeah.
Or even similar versions of your mistakes. But I think the thing with her is
she's got to make them on her own. Yeah.
And I don't know if one, I don't know how I'm going to react. I don't know how Britt's going to react. But I do know that this will still be a house of love.
Sure.
Like, I know that for a fact, but it's like, I don't know if I'm ready for that disappointment. So I'm really trying to prevent it. Because, you know, like, what really can I say? You know, it's like, you're a cokehead drunk that just doesn't do it anymore. Like,
well, no.
What am I doing that you haven't done? Kind of thing.
So that's the thing. That's the thing right there. She's talking about you're an adult but you don't know anything. Like
right.
you understand how much you have to know in order to overcome addiction like that?
Right.
Like it's a false premise at best. And she's only saying that out of spite. So
well, see, no, she hasn't said that out loud, but it's like
that's the energy she gives off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what can you? So What would you have needed for your dad or for your parents to do to get you out of the habits that you formed? What could they have said to you? Opposed to you're an idiot.
Listen, I really think if my dad set me down at, let's see, like 17 was the first time I stumbled in the house hammered.
Okay.
I think if he would have sat me down and sat a bottle down and said, let's go, and like ruined my career, I think that would have, made me rethink some choices. But then again, I don't know, because I do have that, I have an addictive personality.
Yeah.
Like,
let's go, old man.
Yeah. I was also at that age where you couldn't, like, I've always been that person. You can't tell me anything.
Well,
but we have had many a productive conversation that have made me rethink life.
Okay. So who does she have to have those conversations with?
I try and offer my services all the time. Yeah.
That's you. So,
I tell her, I was like, listen, I'm not your mom. I'm not your dad. I'm your stepdad. And then we've had many talks that she's not comfortable having with her parents. I'm like, that's fine. Mm-hmm. I'm telling your mom though. Like,
yeah.
Like, I just don't.
Do you think, so we were talking about, you said Marley is the one who's biting?
Yeah.
So that's in response to a lack of attention or the competition for attention.
Right.
So your oldest, with all the little babies running around, they're not getting the same attention, correct?
I make it my business to give them time.
Yes.
And I do that daily. And that hasn't changed even as the kids have came.
Okay. And so you haven't noticed any kind of distance between the two of you?
So I will tell you one thing. Since we've taken all of her crap out of her room and she's been having to sit downstairs and spend time with the family, no electronics, she's been laughing. She's been participating in more family stuff. She hasn't been as dark and broody. And then I brought that up the other day and she's like, no, dude, like.
So, I mean, device addiction might be something that you have to deal with.
Right.
Social addiction, those kind of, socials addiction. But yeah, that's the, for an introvert, you can definitely be an introvert and sink yourself into this hole with social media. Mm-hmm. And still be in contact with people, still have a following, whatever that means. Like, you can do that now. You couldn't do that pre-internet, pre-socials. So, I think that's a huge thing, is to make her feel inclusive. So I'm glad to hear that, man.
Yeah, like that was the other, like, the one of the things I've really tried to be conscious over. It's because, they aren't my blood children.
Yeah.
But I don't want them to feel left out in this house, because now that there are kids that are, mine
right
here. So.
Well, I'll tell you, Rylan.
Pardon me.
We just went and I had her parent-teacher conference today. And so we went, and unsurprising, she did another fantastic job. And so my wife asked her, she said, what would you want to do if you get good grades? Like, we're probably going to. What would you like to do? She goes, I just want to do something without Anna. And so she wanted mommy and daddy time to herself. And, that's just one other sibling to compete with.
Yeah.
One other sibling who gets plenty of attention, but she is very content. My youngest is very content with entertaining herself. She got a little makeup set up. I took out an old touch lamp that I have from my office that I'm not using anymore. She loves that thing. on, leaves it on, and then just makeup, playing whatever dolls, all that stuff. So she's content. She's cool with that. Rylan needs to have someone to bounce off of, to do something with. And so that's something that we're constantly having to adjust to, is making sure that just with two of them, that they're able to get that one-on-one time for their specific likes and needs and wants, because doing things even together still takes away. So, but yeah, I think that the lack of, or at least a limit on the electronics, where she has to be to participate and do all that, I think that's a positive step.
Yeah, well, so like she does, like her phone, her dad pays for. Mila's phone we pay for. But so we don't even, like, she doesn't even have it over here with her this week, I don't think. But no, but this is like the most present she's been in since she got it. You know, and then she doesn't have all of her dark brooding crap in her room anymore. She still has her makeup and stuff, which I was firmly against, but I was talked out of.
Why? What's the punishment for makeup?
Well, so my whole thing was like, she gets nothing. Like, she
all or nothing. Gotcha.
Yeah, she should have, like, she should have her soap, her shampoo, her face wash, and a brush. Like, you know, like, if you
consider makeup a reward? Yes. Okay.
Well, I mean, I understand, you know, especially in American culture, it's a rite of passage, and it's actually a privilege of expression, because a privileged way of expressing yourself, because there's people that can't afford makeup. You know what I mean? Like, hey, that's fact. Like,
all I will ask is, how privileged did you consider that prior to this? Like, did you tell her no when she was buying or when she was getting stuff, or that she couldn't wear certain makeup or any of that? Did you have any restriction?
My whole thing was, especially when it comes to the girls, is that's not my.
It's not your.
That's not
arena.
That's not my department.
Yeah,
because I know nothing about it.
So, I will just say that I'm glad you lost that battle.
Okay, hey, that's fine.
Because I mean, just in terms of self-confidence or being put together, we don't have to deal with any of that stuff, dude. Especially if we don't want to. Women don't have that. They do not have that option. And more ridicule and more passive-aggressive attention will be sent their way by other people they come across, because they don't have makeup on, for that simple fact. Or, you look tired today. You know what I mean? Like, little things like that that are just like, you don't need to hear that. And so I understand your principle. I get it. All or nothing. Logically, on paper, it makes sense. However, she's still a girl. Like, let's make her, keep her feel, at least let her be able to feel her whole self, if she doesn't even have all her full access to everything.
Hey. And I understand that, but like, my whole thing was, she has such an air of arrogance.
So you're doing that mostly for you then?
No, I'm doing this because she needs to get humble.
You think not wearing makeup will make you humble?
Huh?
You think not wearing makeup makes you humble, or has humility attached to it?
No, I'm saying that her privileges, because the discussion was, her privileges need to be stripped from her, and then she has to earn them back.
Oh, yeah, fair.
Because she needs to humble up and realize that she has it great. These kids have it great. Like, yes, it's loud and chaotic, but this is great. Mm-hmm. This is great. I would love to grow up in this house. Like, You know, and that's not even saying my parents were bad parents. I'm just saying like there's not much that if the kids came down and asked, hey, can we have pizza tonight? We could be like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like no, you know,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
and you know, like, can we go to a movie? Sure. You know, like this is we're not rich, but like this house is fine. This is everything is okay here.
Yep.
Like, so.
Well, I think that's more. I think that's more in line with the privilege that you speak of than something cosmetic like her makeup, because she's choosing to be somber and to be problematic in a great situation, in a positive home setting, because a lot of other kids that have this same kind of issue, they don't have that.
Right.
So yeah, so she needs to understand what she has. I agree with you. I agree with it. The execution, not so much, but I think that it's a W one way or the other.
Well, she still has her makeup, so
there you go. She's got that.
Yeah. But this is my whole thing was just like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Well, my younger brother, we hated each other. My younger brother and I, we did not like each other for the first half of our lives. He was the spoiled little brat, and I was the middle child who could never get enough. Whether that's attention, whether that's whatever. And so I always had to stand out in order to get attention or to do whatever. And all he had to do was make noise. And he got the same attention. You know what I mean? Like this squeaky wheel. And so, yeah, man, we did not get along for a long time because of that. And like I remember, like I took my oldest bowling recently, and she threw a fit in the middle of just me and her daddy time. And so I'm like, you're gonna ruin what this time is meant to be for you. And then she realized that she was messing it up, and then all she would talk about is how she was ruining it. I was like, okay, so now you have the opportunity to understand that you had a moment, to have it, settle yourself down, let's try again. A few minutes later, she settled down and we finished having a good time. But like my younger brother, man, I have deeply embedded recollection of him throwing absolute tantrums when he'd throw the ball down the lane and do poorly. And it would ruin the time. And so like I remember that, and I was like, nope, let's try something different, because I remember being, his slightly older brother who was just like annoyed that he was making a fuss of it when we're literally the rest of us are having a good time. And so, yeah, man, just the privilege and being able to have people around you and having a support system like you are, like you're providing. I don't see it being a long-term issue. But does she see anybody right now? Does she talk to anybody?
We're looking to get her switched to another therapist, because the one that she was going to, we were not seeing really any actual progress. Like, because I know therapy takes time, and it's just like an addiction. You have to admit you have the problem before you can deal with it, kind of thing. And but she wasn't telling her therapist the whole story, so she could get the help, kind of thing. And that was brought up when we were having our conversation too. And I won't get into that because it's not my business to put on the internet at all.
Right.
But so it was. I told Britt, I was like, well, you and Daniel need to talk and see. Let's see what's around, because this ain't. What's this lady getting paid for? If kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, So it's not that that's the other thing too. It's like it's not like we're shut up and deal with it people either. It's like, well, if we can't, let's find you some help.
Yeah, you're throwing resources at it.
And then why aren't you using the tools that you've been provided?
It's the lighter, like you said, the lighter and the rocks, man.
Yeah. You keep banging those rocks together, you're getting nowhere.
I mean, was child therapy anything that you ever thought about or experienced when you were younger? Did you know anybody that went to therapy?
Yeah, no, I did.
You did?
I was in pretty much school mandated
Oh, okay.
Child anger management. And then because I thought it was hilarious just to be hitting people or throwing stuff. Like
yeah.
So I actually still have my smooth stone from, what was it, 3rd grade.
What is that?
So I was given this smooth stone to where if I was ever having feelings of anger, I needed to just reach in my pocket and rub my smooth stone.
Excellent.
Yeah, I gave it to Wyatt the other day and he broke it. But yeah, that was something. Shout out to Mrs. Brown.
Woo!
I think I needed a smooth stone today.
Yeah.
I just want my job at noon today. Or no, it was at 9. Sorry, my parent teacher conference was at noon. At 9 today, I had to go and pick up an item from a big box retailer. And in doing so, I had to go to like a distribution center. And so I have the trailer hooked up. So I go straight through because I've never been there before. I, just get an eye estimate what I need to do in order to get there. I'm like, okay, instead of trying to turn the trailer in because it's a super hard, tight, like it's a tight window trying to fit in there. I went straight and then was going to back up. So I went straight. A car was coming, so I stopped. That car stopped. So I put my review lights on and because I was backing up and they stopped. And then I put my hazards on like, hey, I'm waiting on you. And so then they proceed to drive. I don't see them again. I get out of my truck. They backed into where I was going. I was like, yo, are you fucking serious right now? And so I got back in my truck and I backed it up. Went right where I was going to go, right where he was, and then went right next to his car. He definitely couldn't get out, but we had enough space for us to both load up. And so I had no idea what he was there to get. I was only there to get like 7 or 8 things and 30 minutes max is what I was thinking. And so I get out of the van and I come around the side. And he's waiting for me. As soon as I come around the car, he gets out of his car. And he's like, is there enough room for both of us here? And I was like, well, I don't know because you didn't give me enough time to even back in first. You just decided to cut the line. And so now we're both here. And so then I just got on my phone and went to look up the invoice to get the details. And he starts jawing off, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, hold up. You don't get to talk to me about consideration after literally cutting me in line because you didn't have the patience to see what I was going to do with my vehicle. It took me 12 seconds to back in here. And you didn't have enough time to be considerate to allow that to happen. So now you want to talk to me about being considerate on the back end of your impatience. And he goes, oh, well, don't talk. Oh, you're going to be like that. And I go, no, you don't get to do that thing and then tell me how not to do that thing.
Right.
And so the guy was just like staring at us like, going like that, like just watching us. And so then he turns on and he goes, well, I don't got time for this. I was like, clearly you don't have time for this because you didn't have time for me either. So go ahead and bout your business and fucking get out. Like, I was like, just go handle your shit. And so he went in and tried to talk to the guy, and the guy was, they're still scrambling, trying to help him out. And he comes back out and says some more stuff. And I was like, nah. I was like, we're done. I was like, you don't know me. I don't know you. Let's keep it that way. And so I just turned around. I went back to my truck. I moved it to where I could line up where I needed to and he could squeeze out. And I went, I disappeared, and I went and handled my business. I came back and he was gone. That was it. But I'll be good and goddamn, bro. Some dude is just going to try and come up and pretend like, and he's in a little sedan. Like,
Yeah.
you're there picking up a box that you surely could have had delivered. So it's like, yeah, man, that I needed a smoother route today, so I could have just been like, he wasn't worth it, and it didn't turn into anything. But man, I was just so annoyed that the privilege, he felt like he deserved to get in there because he wanted to, and then now that I was there, I was now the problem that he created. But yeah, he didn't want to take ownership of the creating the problem. I'm like, yeah, that's not how I don't work that way. I do not work that way. So, but anyway, and the guy, one of the other guys came up and helped me. He was like, hey man, you handled that pretty well. I was like, did I?
Hey.
I'm pretty sure if I have a bad Yelp or Google reviews pretty soon, I know where it's coming from.
Hey. Handle it better than I probably would.
But fuck, man. No thank you. With all that.
The only thing I have in reference to that was like 2020 before they really shut everything down, right? And I went to a Circle K and there was some fucking jackhole that parked like sideways in 2 spots.
Yeah.
And so it gave me like this much room to get out of my, at the time, journey, RIP. So I open my door. I make sure my door does not hit his car. Just touches so I can shimmy my ass out, close the door. And he comes out yelling and screaming. I'm going, this is why people in this town can't have nice things. And, and I've got the kids, with me. And I'm still just, oh, this is, he's just screaming and making an ass out of himself. And I just let him. Let him make an ass out of himself. And then I looked over his car and I went, oh, and he drove off. And I walked in, and the cashiers were laughing at him. Like, well, he was one parked like a jackass. And I was like, yeah.
I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but it was like these people, their day sucks on the end of A and B. So in between, they live for the moment because they don't have shit wait for them on the other side. And that's a sad existence. But like the idea that these people can behave in this fashion and then you're the problem.
Mm-hmm.
They're the victim. It's sign of the times. Sign of the times.
I'm too old to be swinging on random dudes.
Oh, I couldn't, like, it was funny because he kept trying. I watched a show the other day with my wife and had a character on it one of the people on it reminded me of this guy. And he had all the mannerisms. And I'm just like, I have zero intent to want to harm this guy. But if I needed to, I would have mollywopped that motherfucker, bro. Because, man, he didn't have it in him. He didn't have it in him. He didn't have it in him to want to follow up on what he was talking about. One, you could read that from a mile away. But it was just like, even if he wanted to, bro, like, you got me in the wrong spot. He literally couldn't get out. So even if he would have beat my ass, what's he got to do? Then he's got to move my car. It didn't make any sense. So, but yeah, no, I don't look forward to those interactions, man. I try to avoid them as much as possible because the value proposition is a negative in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't see. I just don't see the value in being an angry young man that's going to be 35 in June.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially with my kids around me. Like, I don't need them seeing me bow up and get all abusive.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, my wife, she actually had a road rage incident with the girls. I wasn't with her. And so this person cut her off, and then she cut them off or something. And then she was like, she apologized or put her hand up and was like, just go, whatever. And then they pulled in front of her and stopped the vehicle and got out and continued to berate her. And both my girls were in the car. And so she's scared. They're scared. Like, they tried to really make something of it. And it was a couple. It was a guy and a girl. And so she was at a disadvantage. But like, so hearing things like that makes me like, makes the blood boil. But like, and it would have
Sorry.
been a different circumstance. But yeah, if it's by myself, then I'm trying to get home, and I could really care less.
No, I think the only time the kids have ever seen me lose it on somebody was when old creepy Dan next door came over and at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
No, sir.
Hell no. In your
Incorrect.
driveway, bro? In your driveway?
Mm-hmm.
No.
At first thing in the morning.
No.
Hey, we really got to talk to you. No, no,
No.
no, no.
All right. So we've covered BMIs and TMI. Anything else
Yes,
you want
we
to touch
have.
on tonight?
Anything else tonight?
Oof.
No, I have some potential guests to reach out to. One is on the whole other side of the world.
Oh, okay.
Literally down under.
So what time would that conversation have to go down if we normally do it this time?
I have no idea. That's a whole bunch of logistics. I first want to reach out and make the introduction
Sure.
and understand our time difference at least, because I don't want this to be an inconvenience for them.
Oh, no doubt.
To the point, because I know. So I watch a lot of the RX Muscle bodybuilding stuff, and they talk to Lee Priest, who's in Australia all the time. And usually when they're recording, it's like 5 a.m. He's getting up to go do his first run at the gym or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think I necessarily want to poo-poo on someone's parade like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll have to see.
Okay. Let me know how I can help.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'll do so.
But there hasn't been any. There has not been any progress in the Kylie Ray or Dustin Rhodes front, but hopefully soon. Gotta put it out there in the universe.
Well, we'll keep putting content out, and I'll keep making snippets and keep doing stuff that looks favorable, make them want to come on.
You find that one from a couple weeks ago when I was opening the camera?
Yes, I have that on deck. I have that on deck. I started an edit on that one, and I didn't finish it, but it's there. So I'll definitely send that your way.
Need to start spamming that one pretty hard.
Yep. All right, brother, man, you want to sign us off here?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to the Sober Swole podcast. I am Jake Howard.
Woo!
And I go by DJ Swirl.
Chocolate and vanilla swirl.
Until next week.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, it's Warhorse. Do you want your workouts to look like this? Or do you want your workouts to slay? When Warhorse picks his pre-workout, he wants it to slay. If you want second place, go with somebody else. If you want to be a champion, go with Royalty Nutrition.
Good old